Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL prediction segment, I'm going to be giving you my picks and analysis for Week 15 of the 2019 NFL season. Now, first game, I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens at home over the New York Jets. Baltimore right now, there's not enough superlatives just to say about them. They've won 9 consecutive games. They've been on a rampage. Their number one scoring offense, they're averaging 33 points per game. Their point differential is off the charts at 194. 5-1 at home this season, and they're at or near the top in time of possession. You look at the New York Jets, just 1-5 on the road. Now the Jets have been playing better in the last 4 or 5 games or so. They've won 4 or 5 games. They're actually number 2 in rushing yards allowed per game against the best rushing offense in the NFL. They might make it a little closer than people think, but I still like Baltimore to win this one decisively at home. They're just so much better than the Jets from a personnel standpoint right now. So I'm going to take the Ravens to win at home. It's a short week for the Jets on the road. Going to be tough for them. Now, going next game, I'm going to take New England on the road over Cincinnati. New England right now, they're reeling a little bit. They've lost 2 straight games. They weren't blown out or annihilated in those games. They were still competitive, and they're going against the Bengals. The Bengals could be a good remedy for the New England ailments right now. Now, New England is still number 1 in scoring defense. They're giving up about 13 points per game, and they have 21 defensive interceptions. Their defense should help them win this particular matchup. Now, Andy Dalton is back for Cincinnati. Cincinnati has maybe been a little bit more competitive the last 2 games. 1 win over the Jets, but they've still, going back to last season, Cincinnati has not really looked that good, and that would be a vast understatement. So in this matchup, I'm going to take New England on the road. Next game, I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win on the road over the Detroit Lions. Tampa Bay right now, they are, this is a team at this point. They're averaging 29.1 points per game. You look at Jameis Winston, he could be, an offensive juggernaut as far as his passing goes, but he has strong propensity to throw interceptions. But it's kind of like they're taking the good with the bad with him. Now, Tampa Bay actually is 4-3 on the road this season. They got two receivers in the top 5 in receiving yards this season with Evans and Godwin. And you look at Detroit. Detroit is really, Matthew Stafford is likely not going to play. They only have 5 defensive interceptions. I think Tampa Bay is going to have a field day on the offense. I think the secondary, Detroit's going to be really exploited in this one. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay to win on the road. Now, in the next game, I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers to win at home over the Chicago Bears. Now, Green Bay, they've shown some vulnerability. They got blown out some time ago against the 49ers. That was on the road, and they barely got by Washington. This game was likely to be very competitive, but Green Bay has dominated the series in recent time against Chicago. They've won. They're 6-1 in the last 7 against the Bears, and also Green Bay is a dominant home team, 6-1 at home this season. The Bears are just 29th in rushing yards per game there. I think what's going to happen is Green Bay is going to make Mitch Trubisky very one-dimensional, but Mitch Trubisky has shown some progression right now. He has been playing better the last few weeks or so. You look at Chicago's defense. The defense could keep it very competitive. The defense, Chicago has given up 17.8 points per game. They've won 3 consecutive games. They're definitely playing better. It's going to be a desperation game for Chicago, but I still think Green Bay's got too much on the offensive end, and being at home, I like the Packers. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Titans at home over the Houston Texans. Titans have been on a rampage. Their running game has been relentless. They have rushed for like 759 yards over the last 4 weeks. I think the Titans have formulated a way to win games right now. They are going to go against the Houston Texans, and this basically, whoever wins this game, it will have the lead in the AFC South. Houston, they're down right now. Houston is 3-3 on the road this season. They had a demoralizing loss last week to the Denver Broncos, and they're number 18 in run defense, while the Titans are number 8 in rushing yards per game. I think what's going to happen is in the battle of trenches, I like the offensive line of Tennessee over that defensive front for Houston. I think that's going to be the main difference in this game. I think Derrick Henry's going to get at least 100 rushing yards in this game and will help propel the Titans to victory. I'm going to take the Titans at home. Next game. I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs at home to beat the Denver Broncos. Kansas City is averaging close to 29 points per game. They're 4-0 in their division right now. They've won 3 consecutive games. They've played very well since Mahomes has come back. And they're number 4 in passing yards per game. While Denver, right now, their pass defense may make this competitive. It is a divisional game. They're number 6 in pass defense right now, the Broncos. Now, they've lost 8 consecutive games to the Chiefs. This is a series that Kansas City has dominated in recent time. Now, Denver has been playing better of late. They've been 4-4 in their last 8 games after an abysmal 0-4 start. But in safety, Kareem, Jackson should, he's going to have another great game like he had last game, I think, for Denver to have a chance to pull this one off. And Denver's offense has looked good the last 2 games. They've scored 61 points in those last 2 games. But I still like Kansas City has too many offensive weapons. Travis Kelce and company. I think it's going to be enough in being at home to defeat the Denver Broncos. Now the next game. I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins on the road to defeat the New York Giants. The Miami right now just 1-5 on, 1-5 on the road this season, but they're 3-3 in their last 6. They have been playing better in recent time. They're also, like the Giants, they're really in their turnover differential is not very good. The Giants last week, they were very inspired in that first half against the Eagles, but then the offense sputtered in the second half. Not sure what we're going to get out of Eli Manning in this one. Giants are minus 14 in turnover differential, and they've only won 1 home game this season. And they've lost 9 consecutive games, and Miami has at least been a little bit more competitive over their last 6 games or so. So I'm going to take Miami to get this one done on the road. Giants have 28 giveaways compared to 24 giveaways for Miami, so both of these teams have a propensity to turn the ball over. Giants are a little bit worse. I like Miami on the road. Now the next game. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles on the road to defeat the Washington Redskins. Philadelphia defeating the Giants last week. They were had an inspired effort in that second half. They're number 4 in time of possession, or at least near that spot in time of possession right now in the NFL. Washington is near the bottom of the pack in time of possession. I think Philadelphia is going to have more sustained drives in this game. Washington, going back to the end of last season, they've lost a lot of games to say the least. They're dead last or near dead last in scoring offense right now, only averaging 14.5 points per game. And the Philadelphia Eagles right now, they just have a little bit more, as far as just a general personnel standpoint than Washington at this time. And Philadelphia is fighting to win that division. Philadelphia knows they can control their own destiny. They win out, they'll win the division. So I'm going to take the Eagles to get this one done on the road. Next game. I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks on the road to defeat the Carolina Panthers. Seattle, very good coach with Pete Carroll, very disciplined team. I see them being very resilient, bouncing back from a loss to the Rams last week. The Seattle right now is one of the better road teams in the NFL. Linebacker Bobby Wagner said that they got caught off tempo last week. I don't expect that to happen consecutive weeks. Carolina is reeling right now. They've lost 5 consecutive games. They're going to have to really depend on running back Christian McCaffrey in this one to try to help control the time of possession, the tempo of the game. Carolina does have something going for them. They're one of the league leaders in defensive sacks. But at this time, I think Seattle right now is going to be very focused. I see them being able to at least contain Christian McCaffrey and company. And Carolina right now, they just are giving up. They're losing games left and right and giving up number of points in the process. And I'd like Seattle's to get this job done on the road. Now, the next game, the Oakland Raiders, I'm going to take them at home over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Looking at this game now, Oakland right now, they are reeling. They've lost 3 consecutive games. They look like a team that might actually be a viable candidate, so to speak, to make the playoffs, but they've lost 3 in a row. They've only scored 33 points in the last 3, but what it comes down to is Jacksonville has just looked worse than Oakland in recent time. Jacksonville has lost 5 consecutive games, and they've also given up 26 or more points in that 5-game losing streak. Just 2-4 on the road. Wide receiver DJ Clark may be out in this game, and losing Jalen Ramsey. And I mean, this has really been to their detriment, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I just like Oakland's offense a little bit more than Jacksonville's at this time. Oakland, I mean, they put up 21 against the Titans last week. I think they could do at least the same against Jacksonville, and that should be enough to get the win. So I'm going to take Oakland at home. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that. I'm back. But anyway, next game, I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns on the road to defeat the Arizona Cardinals. Cleveland, right now, they've been playing better of late. They've won 4 or 5 games. Running back Nick Chubb, I expect him to have a very good game in this one. I don't know what the status of Odell Beckham Jr. is. If he plays, then I think this should be a decisive win for Cleveland. Now, Arizona, right now, they're dead last in their pass defense. They've lost 6 consecutive games. They're one of the worst teams in time of possession and total defense as well. Arizona just can't stop anybody right now, and they're just a team right now that just really reeling. They look competitive in the earlier part of the season, but they have gone downhill since. I do like the Cleveland Browns to get this done on the road. Now, the next game, Minnesota Vikings, I'm going to take them on the road over the LA Chargers. They're likely going to have wide receiver Adam Thielen back. The Minnesota plays very well against, if Minnesota beats the teams they're supposed to beat. Anybody that they're going to play that's 500 or below, they will likely win. They're not a team that gets complacent. They've won 3 of 4. They had 5 sacks last week, so the defense is really stepping up for Minnesota. They're clicking on all cylinders, and this is a team. I mean, you look at the Chargers right now. Now, they did win last week. They blew out, that was Jacksonville, though. But the Chargers, I mean, they do have a propensity to lose close games. It could happen this week as well. And right now, I think Minnesota at this point, they have a little bit better defense than what the Chargers have at this time. And I mean, the Minnesota, I think, has a little bit more to play for at this point as opposed to the LA Chargers, because Minnesota's trying to compete for that division title against the Green Bay Packers. So, and they're looking more to get a higher playoff seeding. So for those reasons and the incentive factor with Minnesota, coupled with the fact they just have so many offensive weapons, I don't think the Chargers are going to be able to put up the amount of points that Minnesota can in this particular matchup. So I'm going to go with Minnesota to get this done on the road. Now, next game, I'm going to take the Rams on the road to defeat the Dallas Cowboys. Right now, the Rams are running the ball much more effectively. Over the last 2 weeks, they've rushed for nearly 300 yards. In the last 2 games, they've outscored their opponents 62-19. They formulated a way to win games now, to get back to going to Todd Gurley. And looking at the Dallas Cowboys, they are just 2-7 out of the division this season. They've lost 3 consecutive games. There's speculation on Jason Garrett. What's his status going to be? What's his future? I think there's just a lot of distractions with the Dallas Cowboys right now. And in the Rams right now, they're starting to get things going in the right direction. I just like how they're looking right now in contrast to Dallas. So I'm going to take the Rams to win on the road. Next game, I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers at home over the Atlanta Falcons. San Francisco, well, their secondary was really exploited last week. This was a team that had prided themselves on defense. They gave up 46 points last week to the Saints, even though they did win. But San Francisco's averaging nearly 31 points per game. Atlanta has looked better. They've won 3 of their last 4 games. You always have a chance with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, but I just think right now San Francisco, just the way they've been playing for this whole season. They've been much more consistent than the Atlanta Falcons, and they're going to be at home in this one. So I'm going to take the 49ers to get this one done at home. Now, the next game should be a dandy. Pittsburgh is going to be at home against the Buffalo Bills. Pittsburgh has won 7 of 8 games. Right now, they are playing very well. They have 33 takeaways, 5-2 at home this season. And Juju, so Connor is the running back. Connor is going to be coming back likely in this game. Now, Buffalo right now, very strong defensive team, will likely make this game competitive. They're number 2 in scoring defense and also number 3 in passing defense. Buffalo is 5-1 on the road this season. They're a formidable road team. Wouldn't be shocked if Buffalo pulls this one out. But I just like Pittsburgh right now, the way their defense is playing and just how they're playing in general in recent time. And the fact, I mean, they have 18 defensive interceptions right now. It's a team right now that is playing really very strong on the defensive end, especially more so in recent weeks. And they are going to be at home, and getting Connor back and having Juju Smith coming back is going to play dividends for them and help them win this game, I believe. So I like, or I should say likely, James Conner and Juju Smith coming back will likely enhance their chances of winning this game. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh to get this done at home. Last but not least, I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints at home over the Indianapolis Colts. The Saints right now, I mean, they lost last week, yes, but you're looking at an Indianapolis team that is reeling in recent time. Indianapolis has lost 3 consecutive games. They lost 5 of 6. This is a team, number 22 pass defense in the NFL. I think wide receiver Michael Thomas and company are going to have a field day against that secondary of Indianapolis. It really has just, been everything but deplorable. New Orleans also is number 1 in the NFL in fewest turnovers. And they're not about self-inflicted harm. They do not beat themselves. New Orleans is going to take care of the ball in this game. I don't see Brees throwing an interception or turn the ball over. So in this particular game, I do like the Saints to get this one done at home. I think it's going to be very hard for Indianapolis to go in there and have this deafening crowd. I mean, a very vociferous, loud Superdome crowd to hear their signals being called for the quarterback for the offensive plays, and that's going to play a role too. So I'm going to go with the Saints to get this one done at home. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL prediction segment for my 2019 Week 15 NFL picks and analysis. And until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.